Good morning, family and friends. My name is Leroy Douglas. I'm with Two Wing Touring, and want to just give you a little input of what I plan to do today. Today, I'm going to do a basic pre-trip inspection on my motorcycle. It's something that really you should be doing before you get on your bike first thing. I also will talk about maybe some of the things that you should carry with you if you're on a trip, whether it be a short trip or a long trip. But one thing you should do, no matter what, you should do a complete pre-trip of your motorcycle. Some people call it T-clocks. T-clocks is tires, controls, lights, oils, the chassis, and the side stand. And I'm basically going to go over that, but I'm going to go over it a different way instead of going in that order. One other thing I'd like to ask you to do is, if you like the content of what I'm doing, please make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button just in case, because I will be putting out videos about one or two, every other day or so. Make sure, if you like this video, to like it, comment, let me know what you think. One of the things I will tell you about myself is I am a rider course instructor with RPM, also a member of Wing Riders and the Eagle Wings Motorcycle Association, F-Troop in Fort Smith, Arkansas. So what I'm going to do is basically show you what I do first thing, okay? What I normally do is, at one time I was a 18-wheel truck driver. So I sort of remember how you did a pre-trip on a truck. So we're going to do this, the same thing here on a motorcycle. What you want to do is start at the front. Start at the front of the motorcycle, take a look. We're going to look at your tires. You want to look at the condition of the tires. Make sure there's nothing in the treads. Make sure that the tread depth is within specifications. You want to look at the tire itself. Make sure that there's no cracking, no bulging or anything on the tire. You want to look at the rim, and specifically on the rim, you want to look for any cracks or anything that looks like it might be wrong with the rim. A lot of times you can go out and you hit one of those potholes like I hit the other day, and you don't know if it affected your rim. But the good thing would be is if you did a pre-trip before you got going, you would be able to find that out. You want to make sure that everything is secured. I have it on the center stand, so I'm not too concerned about shaking it around. If you have it on the side stand, make sure you be real careful in doing this. What I'm doing now is just sort of checking it left to right, check the bearings. I'm also looking around, checking for any type of leaks of anything that might be in the front. Now what I'm going to do later is I'm actually going to check the air pressure. But you need to make sure you do that and have it within the specifications of what the tire says, what the manufacturer says, and then whatever you feel how you like to ride. I ride with 41 in both tires, front and back. A lot of other people ride different, but it's just what I felt that is the best for the motorcycle and for myself. You want to check the condition of the lights. Make sure there's no cracks. Right now, I have covers over them, but you'll look up underneath there, make sure that they're not cracked. Look at the back side of the mirrors, your turn signals, no cracks in there. You want to look at your windshield, no cracks, but you also want to make sure that your windshield is clean. So once you check it and say, oh, it's dirty, I need to clean it, do your complete pre-checks and then go back and clean it. All right. You're also looking at the front, look at your fog lights or your driving lights, whatever you have. From up here, you want to look, make sure there's no damage, there's no oil leaking. You get around to the side, look at your seat, make sure the seat's not cracked. You're going to look at your frame, make sure that you don't see any cracks, or if you see anything like paint that is bubbling off, normally that's a good sign that it could be a crack up underneath. Check your side stand, make sure that it don't stick, make sure it's not broke, bent. You're checking everything else. Check your exhaust. Make sure that it's not bent or has holes in there. You want to check, normally you want to check your battery. You want to check your battery, make sure that there's no corrosion on the post. Make sure that the posts are tightened. And you also want to make sure that your battery is secured so it doesn't fall out. Check if you have a backrest, make sure it's secured. Go along the side, make sure that everything looks like it's in place. Finish checking your exhaust. Okay. A few other things, take a look. And then you're going to take a look at least of your rear wheel. And what you're doing is you're checking for any type of obstruction or anything inside the tread. You want to make sure you have plenty of tread in accordance with whatever the specifications are for that tire. You will check the air pressure. We're going to do that in just a second. You want to check the rim, make sure the rim is not bent, broke. Anything that looks like it might be the rim has been dented anyway. If it is, you probably need to replace it. Come back to the back. You want to check your lights. Make sure there's no cracks or anything wrong with your lights. If you have a trailer hitch, make sure it is secure. You're going to check your lights. Once we go through and we crank the engine, we will check all of the lights. So we're going to go to this side and just start doing back the same thing we did. We're going to check the exhaust. We're going to check the grab rails, make sure that they're secure. Look at the frame, make sure there's no cracks. You're also looking for paint. And if you see paint that's peeling, possibility what? That it could be a crack up underneath. You're looking for, on your brake fluid, on your rear brakes, you look and make sure that you have appropriate fluid. You want to check your pedals, check your foot pegs. We'll get to all of this in just a second. Okay, going back up here on the right side, you want to check, make sure there's no damage, make sure everything looks like it's secure. You're checking for bolts, cotter pins, or anything else that you have attached. From there, you're going to go back to the front. Make sure you're checking on the front right side. Make sure of your driving lights, your fog lights are not broke. You want to check up under, make sure there's no cables that are loose, that are actually would be binding whenever the wheel turns. You want to check this side of the rim, make sure that the rim doesn't have any cracks. Make sure it's not, doesn't have any bends or some, like if you hit a hard bump that it somehow bent your rim. What you're going to have to do is what I have to do here is I normally have to lift it up and just spin it and make sure that it looks like it's spinning true. Now I'm going to go back over here. We're going to check up here. You want to check all your levers. Make sure they're not broke. Make sure they're operational. Make sure that they move in the appropriate direction. The same with the clutch. Clutch, make sure that the clutch handle itself is not broke. Make sure that when you pull it, it releases and goes back to its position. The throttle, you want to make sure, flip the throttle and it returns back to its normal position. Okay, a couple other things I'm going to check. The fluids. You need to check the fluids. What you have to do though, to check the fluids, you have to start it up. Okay, and you want to start it up. Let it run till it gets to operating temperature. But while it's doing that, this is a good way. All right, for you to check your lights. So you want to check your headlights, make sure your turn signals, all your lights are working. Check your high beams. And low. You also want to check your turn signals. Start one side. Come back, start the other side. Then from there, you want to go all the way to the back and do exactly the same thing to the rear. Make sure your lights are working. Sometimes when the sun is shining, you're not able to actually see if they're working. Try to shade off the sun, see if they're working. Right here they are. I have extra lights here. What you want to do, check your turn signal. Turn signal's working. The other side. You know, it's real good if you have someone to help you that can check on your brake lights. Best thing I can tell you to do is turn on your four ways, okay? And double check all of your lights. So once it is up to operating temperatures, go ahead and shut it down. You normally want to wait about 1 minute and then check your oil, okay? And what you should know is that you should know exactly when your oil needs to be changed. Keep your service updated. Make sure that you check other oils. Make sure you check the coolant. In ours, it has a little coolant reservoir down in the bottom. Sometimes you have to clean it off just to see how much coolant is in there. And once you did that, you know, you're pretty well ready to go. But one of the things I want to show you some of the things that I have that I take on my trip, no matter where I go. Probably the most important, make sure you have a helmet, okay? And make sure the helmet, you want to look at the expiration, or excuse me, the manufacturer date of the helmet. I would say that your helmet needs to be no more than 5 to 6 years old. They recommend replacing them at 5. Some manufacturers say 6. I would always have me a spare set of gloves, just in case you run into some type of a rain, you need to swap your gloves out. I would say a bunch of stuff you would take extra, but that's one thing you really need to. What I do is I carry a little power pack, and this takes care of more than one thing. If somehow I get somewhere and I run the battery down, I use the power pack, and power pack will start it. And you also can charge some of your other like your cell phone and stuff with the power pack. It's really handy. I always carry me a bunch of maps. Even though your phone has all the good Google Maps, here are some of the best maps to take. I take Butler maps along with me because I like to find roads that have been checked out, and they're some of the best roads in the world. Some I have for different states. This is the Ozark. I have Texas Hill Country, Utah, and a bunch of others. I try to take me some set of a little toolkit with me, making sure that I have Allen wrenches, and sockets. I take emergency lighting just in case something happens and I get stuck on the side of the road. Wet weather gear. Wet weather gear. You need to make sure you always have wet weather gear because it doesn't matter when. You can be riding, it looks just as beautiful. 5 minutes later, it's pouring down rain. I always carry my cover with me just in case. I know I have the power pack, but sometimes some people do not want to use the power pack on their motorcycle. So I carry me a set of booster cables. And probably one of the most important things I bring is I always bring a roll of toilet paper. I hope this was pretty informative. I hope I didn't bore you. I hope it's not too long. But please, in the comment, let me know what you think. I will be trying to do some of these videos. Like I said, every day I will put out videos as much as I can. But all I got to do is say thank you. Thank you for listening. And please like and subscribe. Thank you.